Hello dear expats, let's have a look together to Arbeitsmittel or work tools. Every employee in the everyday working life uses certain tools or instruments. It can be otherwise. The good news here is that the Finanzamt recognizes the expenses for these instruments and work tool as income-related expenses. Few examples to understand what we are talking about. We are talking about the professional literature, Fachliteratur, Telefon- and Internetkosten, Telekommunikationskosten in German, computer, including the accessories such as cam, keyboard, mouse, mousepad. These are Computerkosten, Paperschreiber, answering machine, fax machine, photocopier, supplies for the office. These are, in German, Büromaterial. Work desk, ergonomic chair, laptop, stand. These are Büromöbel. Professional clothing and protective gear also are deductible and recognized by the Finanzamt as instruments and work tools. In German, you can call them Arbeitskleidung. Regarding this aspect, it is important to mention that the Finanzamt recognizes the cost for protective gear and professional clothing only when it's distinctive and necessary for the unfolding of a profession. For example, medical uniforms and scrubs for doctors or physiotherapists, lab coats for biologists, safety shoes, safety helmets, visibility vests, work gloves for civil engineers, stage clothes for artists. These are a few examples. This gear can be worn, in fact, only in a professional environment. Black pants and white t-shirt or white shirt can't be worn only in a professional environment. They could be worn beyond the professional environment. That's why they're not recognized by the Finanzamt. There are even more good news when it's about professional clothing and protective gear. In fact, the Finanzamt allows you a flat rate deductible for expenses in cleaning, ironing, and drying. It recognizes 80 cents for kilo, or 80 cents per kilo. Let's assume you wash a kilo every day after work. You have 230 days of work. We're talking about 184 euros of income-related expenses only for washing, ironing, and drying of your protective gear or work clothing. Let's go back to the working tools, instruments for work. May I use these instruments also in my private spheres? Well, yes. The Finanzamt allows a 10% non-professional use or private use. The rest must be strictly professional. May I deduct all the costs right away? Well, it depends. For the fiscal years 2018, 2019 and 2020, it depended on the paid amount, on the paid price. In fact, the Finanzamt put a cap up to 800 euros without value-added tax or 952 euros with value-added tax. The exceeding expenses for a work tool must be deducted throughout several years. Depending on the work tool or the instrument we're talking about, you have different years for deductibility. About that, I invite you to check out the link to the Bundesministerium der Finanzen, where it's completely listed up what you can deduct and for how many years. So check it out. Let's make maybe an example regarding the years and the sums. If you bought a computer in January 2020 for 960 euros, so beyond the 800 euros or 952 euros I said before, you could deduct this computer throughout 3 years, according to the list of the Bundesministerium der Finanzen. We're talking about 320 euros each year. What if you bought a computer in July 2020? Well, then there is a different procedure to follow. In fact, you bought the computer and used the computer only for the second half of the year. It means that you can deduct not the 320 euros, but the 160 euros, the half of the expense foreseen by the Finanzamt. The remaining cost of 640 euros if you bought the computer in January 2020 and the cost of 800 euros if you bought the computer in July 2020 are deductible completely the year following. Why is that? It's very simple, because suddenly you're below the caps we discussed, so 800 euros without value-added tax or 952 euros with value-added tax. In this case, the computer would be deductible throughout 2 years or 2 tax declarations. There are even more good news. In fact, starting from the fiscal year 2021, this cap per year on certain work tools or work instrument was removed. In order to better understand what we're talking about, check out the link below.